Well, let's talk about Fire Station 8. We've been talking about Fire Station 8 on and off for a long time, but the board approved the schematic design contract, and what do we mean by that specifically?
So we have a community approved, if you will, design for the Fire Station number 8 rebuild, which also fits within our budget that we've allotted for the project, with a little bit of a supplementary budget that we adopted with the action this past month. But this feels like Fire Station 8 has been here during my entire tenure of running for and occupying this office. So this goes back to 2015, where there was a big process to determine where to rebuild or relocate Fire Station 8. An initial proposal to relocate it away from its current location met with a lot of resistance, and ultimately a community process determined wouldn't necessarily be the best approach. So it's going to be rebuilt in place, and through some strategic land acquisitions, we've got the ability to put the temporary fire station nearby while this new facility is built, and it's going to have all of the functionality that we need from a modern fire station, with 4 bays so that we can accommodate the equipment. And then more importantly, at least in my mind, we're going to do right by the firefighters, because we are going to have facilities to effectively decontaminate their equipment and the apparatus after use, which is something that we know will greatly inhibit the potential for illnesses like cancer, which are very prevalent among public safety personnel. So the decontamination units, allowing for this facility to have gender-neutral bathrooms and be open and accommodating to people of all genders. Really, it's going to be not only a state-of-the-art, but just a fire station that does right by its workers. And it's also going to honor the history of Fire Station 8, which has a very unique role in Arlington's history, being begun as an all African-American firefighting unit because, well, quite frankly, there were other firefighting units during the days of segregation which would not serve the community. So Fire Station 8 gets to maintain that legacy with some historical interpretations on site, in addition to being just a wonderful facility that will help catalyze, I think, the redevelopment of Lee Highway.
And through this design, how is, I've heard that some of that history is really going to come to life, so to speak, through that design. How is that working?
So I was excited. I don't know if you took a look, Matt. So one of the renderings that I saw is going to take the old Fire Station 8 medallion, which is very, very cool, and that's going to be prominently featured on the front of the building. There's also going to be a history walk, if you will, which is going to be a gallery, essentially, of the history of Fire Station 8. And I think they're talking about some interior features that will be open to the community. So, you know, it's going to be kind of a cross between a fire station and a museum.
I was just going to say, it's like a mini museum inside the fire station. What have you heard from the firefighters themselves, those who are going to be working out of this station? What was it they most needed, and what are they really looking forward to with this new design?
So if, I'd been in the old Fire Station 8, and it was as well maintained as it could be, but it was an aging facility.
Sure, it happens.
The quarters were not sufficient enough to allow for any kind of an expanded staff, and this is a part of the county that's growing. So we needed a fire station that could meet the demands. And so we're adding the number of bays for equipment, we're adding the number of personnel who can actually be there full time, and this will be a dramatic improvement because people who worked in the old station really could never, you're always trying to make things fit when they couldn't quite be accommodated, so it was a struggle. But interestingly enough, the firefighters who work there never really complained about it because they love having the honor of working at Fire Station 8. So they didn't want to make too much of a to-do about it. But now that they're going to get a new facility, I think they're going to be thrilled.